Good evening. I would like to share some thoughts on emotional healthy spirituality with you tonight. Marianne Williamson says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure." I believe this to really be true. But how do we care about ourselves? How do we realize the power that we really are? How do we stop playing small? In emotional spirituality, I believe that in order to be spiritual, you must also be emotionally healthy. Part of that is self-realization, realizing what your strengths are, realizing what your liabilities are, realizing where you need to do some work on your own. The second part of this is self-management. Now, let's be real. How can you manage an attitude that you have if you don't even know that you have it? How can you manage a strength and help it to grow even if you're not aware of it? All of us come to the universe with special gifts. Most of us play small because we're mommy's little boy, daddy's little girl. We're being something that we're not. Society has told us that we need to be a doctor, lawyer, or something. And there's nothing wrong with any of those. But what is the dream that you've given up to be somebody that you're not? And when we begin to realize who we are and what we are and the power that we really have within ourselves when we are our authentic self, then we begin to really live a life from a great premise. Now, self-management is part of self-care. That means we learn how to control tempers, we learn how to control thoughts, we learn how to put phrases in the right frame. How many times have you been down the street and somebody's flipped you off or somebody said something unkind? Because most of the time you'll find that our emotions act before our mind does. There are electric magnetic forces that come to us through touch, through taste, through sight. And those that travel into our body and into our system come up through in and go into emotion, and sometimes we do the emotion and then we have the thought afterwards and you have to think, oh my God, why did I do that? And then we have to make an amends. We've said something hurtful, we've said an act that we did not want to do because we didn't think it through. And that's where it comes to self-management, self-realization with regards to social situations. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Somebody drank too much, somebody acted up and acted out in a social situation, and there's no amount of being repentant or making amends that's going to change the effect of what happened. Once the words are spoken, they take a life all of their own, and they begin to set into motion things that we have no control over afterwards. So tonight, I want you just to stop and think about what kind of care are you giving yourself? Are you, number one, having self-care when it comes to realizing the wonderful human treasure you are? Number two, taking stock so that you can have management of who you are. Three, beginning to learn how to manage yourself in social situations. And then four, and those important, intimate relationships that you have with people, your family, your friends, your co-workers, how are you interacting with them? Goodness is an extension of godness. You cannot be spiritually healthy without being emotional healthy.